One of the largest elected bodies in the world has not held a session day in its own chambers in 21 months. The pandemic has taken lawmakers from an arena to a playing field to a parking lot, and then this year's temporary home of the Bedford Sportsplex, where reps avoided the virus but became increasingly frustrated by the difficulties of distancing.
Bedford was the sports complex. You couldn't even see the people. You couldn't even identify the people across the hall. You didn't know who was talking. You couldn't see their mannerisms.
Even amid the state's most serious COVID-19 surge of the pandemic, some rank-and-file Republican reps believe it's time to return to the elbow-to-elbow setting of Reps Hall.
Are some people going to die? Possibly. But what is the counter effects if you don't get back together and go back to normal?
Doctors serving in the House say gathering in chambers next month would be like rolling out the red carpet for COVID.
The highest risk gathering is a large in-person gathering where you can't maintain social distance, where attendees travel from outside the local area. Well, that's an excellent description of a House session. News 9 has learned a decision has not yet been made by House Republican leadership, but the Speaker's office is looking into different locations and finalizing details. Other doctors serving in the House say a new study shows a venue like Reps Hall could be a viable option, but the basic precautions necessary, like showing proof of vaccination, represent a political impossibility.
That if you have a COVID test before people come in, that if people are required to wear N95 masks throughout, and you've upgraded ventilation as the Speaker has put in place in Representatives Hall, then it could actually be done safely in that kind of location.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR, News 9.
All right, let's talk weather. You can't see it right here, but those clouds, they're moving in, and they're bringing something along with them. Spring Chief Meteorologist Mike Haddad, what are those clouds bringing, Mike?
Well, yeah, right now, not too much, but maybe tomorrow you start to see a little snow flying in many parts of the state, so
okay,
winter upon us.
Buckle up.
Here we go. Not a big storm. We're going to kind of set that tone right now, but we are also going to alert you that even though snow should be on the light side tomorrow, our temperatures are going to be lower than they are right now, and that could mean some slippery spots, especially as the day wears on late afternoon into the evening, although there could be a few flurries even before then. Upper 20s to the mid-upper 30s from north to south. A lot of cold air locked in over the northeast. And what you're going to notice over the next 12 to 24 hours is a lot of energy pivoting in out of the Great Lakes and a storm developing well to our south. And that storm is going to develop here and move way out to sea. But the winds are going to be onshore well to the north of it. And with that energy coming in from the west, here's a look at your 12 hours tomorrow from sunup until sundown. Yeah, there are a lot of clouds out there and periodic light snow or snow showers. So just plan on a few extra minutes to travel if you have to get out and about tomorrow, anytime from 8 or 9 a.m. right into the evening. How much could we see? Not a whole lot. We'll look at that and the rest of the week coming up.
Breaking news tonight, 2 employees at a Salem restaurant are now facing charges connected to a devastating crash last month that gravely injured 3 teenagers. WMUR's Amy Cavino live in Salem tonight with some just released details concerning the restaurant they were working at.
Jen, this information came in just in the last hour or so. The New Hampshire Liquor Commission Division of Enforcement has issued 6 serious violations against the Happy Crab here in Salem, including aggravated prohibited sales of alcohol to a minor and aggravated prohibited sales of alcohol to an intoxicated person. This was the scene Salem police were called to November 10th. A Mustang into a tree off Pond Road. Inside the wreckage, 3 teenagers. All 3 suffering life-threatening injuries. And tonight, Salem police now say they have video proof that at least 2 of them were drinking for hours at the Happy Crab, doing shots at one point with the bartender. Investigators allege the teens were never asked to show identification. Now, arrest warrants have been issued for that bartender, Kaylee Mendez, age 34, as well as G. Liam, age 25. The charges from police are misdemeanor for prohibitive sale of alcohol. The mother of one of those teens, Jordan Early, tells News 9 her daughter, Jordan, is now in rehab but has a long road ahead of her. She has no memory of that night.
They served my daughter alcohol without checking an ID. Who would run an establishment and serve alcohol to underage children?
We have video evidence that 2 wait staff served a 19 and 18-year-old underage persons for over 3 hours, at one point doing shots with the driver of the vehicle.
The New Hampshire Liquor Commission Division of Enforcement released a statement to News 9 that says in part, quote, any potential alcohol-related crash is deeply troubling, especially when it involves the illegal sale and service to minors in their formative years. The division is committed to keeping our children safe and will take all necessary steps to ensure that this investigation and any penalties are administered swiftly. I did speak with the general manager here at the Happy Crab earlier today. He acknowledged he was aware of the investigation and said at this time he could not make a comment. We're live in Salem. Amy Covino, WMUR News 9.
All right, thank you so much for that, Amy. The White House says President Biden has warned Russian President Vladimir Putin against invading Ukraine. The two men speaking via video conference call for about 2 hours today. The call following a weeks-long buildup of Russian troops along the Ukraine border. Intelligence officials say they're not sure what Russia's endgame is.
We don't believe that we don't know that Putin has made up his mind to use force, but what we do know is that he's putting the Russian military, the Russian security services in a place where they could act in a pretty sweeping way.
The Biden administration says it is ready, along with European allies, to impose economic sanctions if Russia invades.
Coming up next, 2 young girls killed in a crash in Littleton over the weekend. And now we're hearing from the mother of one of those victims.
Plus, the former Trump staffer who now says he will no longer cooperate with the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection.
And the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor 80 years ago today pushed the U.S. into World War II. Ahead at 5:30, the brave stories now being remembered of the Japanese-American soldiers who enlisted to fight.
Welcome back. Time now to check out how traffic is flowing around the state. You are looking live at 293 in Manchester from the Elliott at River's Edge camera. Looks pretty smooth right there. It's a pretty good ride on 93 from Salem up to Manchester. All clear right now in the Everett through Nashua and Merrimack. There are no problems on 93 and 293 around Manchester, but there is a usual slowing down on 101 through Bedford. You see the yellow right there on the map. But there are some delays on 93 north tonight, getting through Concord, while on the seacoast, well, there's some breaks getting through the Hampton tolls. Otherwise, 95 and the Spalding are in good shape. This traffic report brought to you by the WZID Traffic Network.
Tonight, new details about an absolutely horrible accident Sunday evening in Littleton on I-93 that killed 2 young girls and also injured the driver. WMUR's Grace Feinerman live at the Littleton Fire Department tonight with the latest on this. Grace?
Police say 36-year-old Jordan Kucher from Milton, Vermont was heading down the interstate northbound when he lost control. They say the car slid to the left, entering the median before then rolling over. Police say it happened south of exit 44 on Interstate 93 northbound again in Littleton. They got the initial call at around 4:40 in the evening. 2 passengers, those 2 young girls, were thrown from the car. They were pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, Kucher, was sent to Littleton Regional Hospital with minor injuries. The mother of one of the girls, who also helped raise the other, says she's still in shock.
Kelsey was my little unicorn. That's what I always called her, because she was always so the life of the party, and she loved people, and she just had such a heart of gold, and she would try to help anybody that she could, and she was just such a loving little girl.
Police are still investigating, getting to the bottom of exactly how the crash happened. For now, live in Littleton, Grace Feinerman, WMUR News 9.
All right, thank you so much, Grace. An attorney for former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows now says he will not cooperate with the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol insurrection. Now, they cited a breakdown in negotiations with the panel in the abrupt reversal. He said a deposition would be, quote, untenable, because the panel, quote, has no intention of respecting boundaries concerning questions that former President Donald Trump has claimed are off limits because of executive privilege. And former Vice President Mike Pence's Chief of Staff, Mark Short, now cooperating with the investigation. One source inside the January 6th committee says it is getting, quote, significant cooperation with former Pence staffers. Short was one of the former VP's closest advisors and was with him as he escaped the Senate chamber.
Hawaii is under a state of emergency right now because of weather. Take a look at this. A storm system has dropped a